Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's and Mariana's Coffee.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Sexual allegations inside the local prison. The commissioner provides details. Also tonight, we listen to some thoughts from community members on the fate of the Garapan Casino. And there is no more primary for GOP candidates this weekend as one makes the switch to independent party. In sports, this weekend is a special one for our swimming community. Stay with us, we have these stories and more up next.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
I love Mariana's Coffee. Come join me for a cup. I think you would be really happy.
Our new McDonald's Spicy Chicken McNuggets are just the right amount of spicy. A small to medium Sprite kind of spicy. Let's get a McFlurry after this kind of spicy. But if you get the mighty hot sauce, it's a napkins up for foreheads now kind of spicy. This came from McDonald's kind of spicy? Because our Spicy Chicken McNuggets, breaded in tempura and made with cayenne, are just the right amount of spicy. Unless you remember what I said about the sauce. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
A female inmate inside the CENMI Department of Corrections alleges that she was raped by a male inmate. The allegation comes after officers found the female inmate inside the cell pod of the male inmate on April 3rd. DOC Commissioner Anthony Torres held a press conference this afternoon.
A rape kit was conducted. DPS was notified. I was there for a couple hours just to talk with my staff and, really find out what happened, what transpired. Social worker was also called. There was a social worker there as well. And then, DPS was there. There is a case, there is a complaint. Okay, there's a complaint that was made.
Torres told reporters that after discovering the two genders in one cell, a shakedown was conducted inside the prison. Internal Affairs found the female inmate throwing intimate letters between her and the male inmate into the toilet. Officers were able to retrieve those letters along with other letters in the male inmate's possession. Torres says they are currently investigating the allegations.
It's not allowed. Staff are not allowed to allow genders visiting each other in each section. That's not allowed. That I can say. Okay, they're separated, and each section has an officer. I have, given that it's still a pending investigation, I have 3 officers who are on admin leave. So, until we wrap up this investigation, then I could, I could brief you on more of the findings at the end.
The commissioner did not disclose the name of the officers, but did confirm that 2 of them are officers for the male section and 1 is an officer for the female section. The commissioner is adding more security measures to the facility.
Sometime in May or June, we're going to have brand new surveillance systems placed in this facility. And I'm also looking into obtaining some grants for body-worn cameras for all my officers to wear for the protection of themselves and the inmates.
Torres expects to have a full report on the findings in the next week or so. The CENMI retirees' 25% pension benefits are safe, at least for now. The legislature had back-to-back emergency sessions this week to pass legislation that appropriates $5.2 million for the 25% retiree pension. In the bill authored by Representative B.J. Attow, the money comes from dividends collected by the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority from the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation. The money is supposed to build utility infrastructures in the 3rd Senatorial District, but they are sacrificing that to give CENMI retirees a full check. Governor Arnold Palacios thanks the legislature for their swift action and issued the following statement. The leaders of the Commonwealth bear a collective obligation to safeguard our retiree benefits and give them the financial peace of mind they deserve. Acting Governor David Apatang signed the legislation into law. Casino commissioners and the CENMI community wait another week for final settlement negotiations between CCC Director Andrew Yome and Imperial Pacific International. Many believe the fate of IPI would be known this week, speaking before officials on the first day of the revocation hearing. Let's take a listen.
I want to, first of all, offer encouragement to the board members. It's never too late to start doing the right thing. Perhaps whenever this all set up, there was a belief that this was going to be a functioning, going concern, that there was a reason that IPI would be a fair partner. But at this point, it is clear that they are not. It is not too late to start acknowledging them for what they are, to take away the presumption of fair dealing, the presumption of regularity.
James Kingman delivered his comment as a private citizen of the Commonwealth and as an American.
Their time here should be over. They should leave this island. They don't need to rebrand. They don't need to buy another frozen food company. They don't need to come back with another tactic. The eyes are on this place now.
Local businessman James Chua also spoke as a private citizen. However, Chua explained that he is knowledgeable about what has transpired between IPI and the CENMI government, having served as the former DPAC consultant.
In 2017, we did an assessment for the CNMI. We told the CNMI that this project will fail. And we told the Gaming Commission too why it would fail. And the reason it would fail was because the scope was too big. The CNMI required IPI to do things that was impossible. And IPI, for its own stupidity, agreed to this impossible undertaking. This project cannot be financed as it is, and that's why it has failed. And the CNMI must understand, it invited IPI here to do a project for the benefit of the people. The intent of public law, 1856, which the vice chairman had a hand in it, is to help the people of the CNMI, to help the retirees, to allow us to have sufficient revenues so that we can educate our kids properly, we can have a good healthcare system, and we can take care of the needs of the constituents. Well, that has failed. And the reason it has failed is because the basic requirements of the project was not feasible. You cannot just simply blame IPI for what has happened. The CNMI has a part in this.
Chua was also involved in prior casino developments in Tinian.
I don't think it should revoke. I think there is the potential to work together so long as the terms can result in a successful project. You should not just throw this project away because something wrong has happened. All the wrongs that has happened, the CNMI allowed it to happen. CNMI is at fault for this failure. CNMI can correct it. And I ask you not to revoke. I ask you, please find a way to resolve this for the benefit of the people as the law has intended.
Representative Marissa Flores shared her sentiments as well, speaking as a private citizen of Precinct 3, where the casino stands today.
Back in 2015, by a vote of 13-7, House Bill 1995 was introduced by then Angel Dimapon. Removed the provision that would have ensured the completion of the construction for any construction project built by, for, and in relation to the casino licensee operation in the Commonwealth. Because that provision was removed, we are now here. I understand that this situation is complex and there are differing opinions. However, years have passed and history tells us that long before COVID, IPI clearly demonstrated its inability to be trusted. I recommend that the governor take action and remove this commission should you members fail once again to act in your fiduciary responsibility to uphold the Constitution of the Commonwealth and revoke IPI's license today. Thank you, Sizus Masi.
After 2 days of intense negotiations from IPI in a last-minute effort to keep their license, Chief Solicitor Robbie Glass from the Attorney General's office informed YOM that the proposed stipulated agreement is not legally sufficient. YOM told commissioners that the proposal was already 90% done and that he was guided by legal counsel Allison Nelson, who is also from the Attorney General's office. Commissioners expressed frustration in the process. YOM then requested for another 10 days to finalize the agreement, along with requesting the presence from the OAG to talk them along the way. The commissioners granted the request for YOM to come out with a product, whether it is signed by the OAG or not. The next hearing is scheduled for April 22. The deadline to submit the 2023 income tax return is Monday, April 15. The Division of Revenue and Taxation wants to remind taxpayers that there is still time to file the 1040 CM tax return. And to ensure a swift and secure transaction, you can request direct deposit of your refund. A new feature this tax season is checking your refund status online. Most returns will be processed by May 1, so if you want to check your status online, you must submit a ticket by providing your Social Security number, filing status, and mailing address for verification. DRT reminds those who owe taxes that it is important to file your tax return and pay the amount due by the tax deadline of April 15. This will allow you to avoid paying interest and penalties. If you are unable to pay the full amount, you can do a down payment and then apply for an installment agreement through the Collections and Remittance branch. Now, if you are unable to file your tax return by April 15, you can apply for a filing extension. For more information, you can visit the Finance Department website at finance.gov.mp.
I love Marianne's coffee from Join Me for a Cup. I think you would be really happy.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CENMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
The CNMI Republican Party announces that they are endorsing Kimberly King Hines as their official candidate for the November election to the United States House of Representatives. The announcement comes after John Bolis Gonzalez rescinded his letter of intent to run under the GOP banner. Gonzalez, through his committee to elect Chairman Ambrosio Ogomoro, wrote a letter to GOP President Diego Benavente on Tuesday, explaining their primary reason centers on the fundamental right of voters to vote for their candidate without being subjected to party restrictions. Ogomoro adds that in preparation for the upcoming primary, the GOP issued a statement that those who want to vote must present an ID and register as a Republican. They say this violates one's right to vote freely and shall not be deprived or suppressed. Benavente responded to the letter on Thursday, stating that announcement is outlined in the GOP bylaws, which is Article 1, Article 2, and Article 10, Section 1. Benavente then issued a release endorsing Hines as their official candidate. The U.S. military rescues 3 men who were stranded on an island for more than a week after they used coconut leaves to spell out help on the beach. The men are from the Federated States of Micronesia, and they reportedly set off from Palawan on March 31, with plans to fish around the other outer islands. A relative of the men reported them missing after a week, prompting search and rescue operations from the United States Coast Guard. On Sunday, a U.S. Navy aircraft spotted the men about 100 miles south from Palawan on an atoll named Picolot. Lieutenant Chelsea Garcia, who is the Search and Rescue Operations Coordinator, released a statement on Tuesday. Quote, "In a remarkable testament to their will to be found, the mariners spelled out help on the beach using palm leaves, a crucial factor in their discovery." Unquote. She added that this act of ingenuity was pivotal in guiding rescue efforts directly to their location. The Coast Guard airdropped a radio on the island the following day, Monday, to communicate with the mariners. They said they were in good health and still had access to food and water, but they needed help leaving the island. The Coast Guard learned that the men's small motorboat had suffered damage and couldn't function anymore. On Tuesday morning, Coast Guard cutter Oliver Henry arrived at Picolot to physically rescue the men and bring them back to Palawan. The Coast Guard suggests that mariners should equip boats with a battery-powered radio transmitter to enhance safety on the water. Local law enforcement is seeking your help in locating a wanted person. 25-year-old Laila Cabrera Malari is wanted for child abuse charges. An arrest warrant has been issued for the San Vicente resident by the CENMI Supreme Court in the amount of $5,000. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Malari, you can call the DPS Criminal Investigations Bureau at 670-664-9000 or call 911. If you missed Thursday's Humanities Half Hour, don't worry, we got you. Catch the replay this Saturday at 7 p.m. This week's guest, Mr. Don Farrell, who shares about his new book, Seabees and Superforts at War.
It is the story of World War II on Tinian, beginning with the Japanese administration all the way through the end of the war. How Tinian contributed to the ultimate defeat of Japan and the end of the war.
Once again, the replay is on Saturday at 7 p.m. here on the Channel 2 News.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month, plus a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
Hi, I'm Dre. one of the personal trainers here at Goat's Gym, and today we're going to show you a Bulgarian split squat, a fantastic lower body exercise that should be a main staple in your training. Now the first thing we want to address is the rear foot placement. Now whether it's toes on or toes off, just find what's comfortable for you. The bigger issue we want to tackle is the height of the box or bench. You see, when you set up on a box or a bench that's too high, that inherently puts an aggressive stretch on the front of your hip. Oftentimes, that sensation will take away from the working leg, the leg that's on the floor. And when you start to add load in this faulty position, you're bound to run into some problems, particularly if you got some mobility restrictions. So Jamila's gonna set up. She's gonna descend with control, and from there, just stand tall.
Location, location, location. Office space on Capitol Hill available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park. With natural light and ocean views, it's the perfect place for creative professionals. So upgrade your life and your working environment. Schedule an exclusive showing now. Call us at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com.
Buenas sports fans.
This Sunday at 1 p.m. local time, swimmers, canoers, paddlers, moms, dads, boys, and girls are invited to paddle out and give thanks to Gene Sokovich, co-founder of the Saipan Swim Club in 1974 and coached to hundreds of Saipan swimmers.
We're hoping for a big turnout. As you know, Jeannie was here in the early 70s. Really, her and her husband Bill were the start of really brought competitive swimming to Saipan and influenced so many people, and we're so happy that we're able to get together and collaborate with the memorial that's happening over in Hawaii, and we're actually it'll be almost simultaneous, so we're pretty excited about that. So we're hoping everyone and anyone who has anything to do with swimming here in Saipan can come down. 1 p.m. we're going to be down at Civic Center right next to the Guma Sockman. Please bring flowers, bring anything organic that we can put into the water. We're going to do some sort of remembrances on the beach initially. We'll gather and kind of tell people what the game plan is.
The Saipan Swimming Club started in the Saipan Lagoon and then moved to what is now the Hyatt Hotel and then over to what is now the Crown Plaza before finding a more suitable home at the Can Pacific Swimming Pool. Jacoby Winkfield grew up in that 50-meter pool and has some vivid memories.
Mrs. had the hard practices. Mr. had the easy ones, but on Mrs. days, you know you were going to get some 400s, some IMs, some pretty tough sets. So she was definitely the Iron Lady and whipped us into shape real quick.
What did it mean to have your dad help them for many years, and then what did it mean to you to kind of grow up around Mr. and Mrs.?
Yeah, so growing up around Mr. and Mrs., it was like one big family. They were our parents. My dad was obviously there, and it was great having him around. Giving us a different perspective on a lot of things. It was tough. It was tough outside of the water. It was tough in the water. So after school, you knew you were never going to get a break.
NMI won its first ever medals in the South Pacific Games in 1987. In 1988, Jonathan Sokovich competed in the Seoul Olympics. Winkfield competed for the NMI around the Pacific, including events in Australia, Hawaii, Tahiti, and Hong Kong, with a host of other top NMI swimmers like Genevieve Pangilinan, Sungjin Lee, and Dean Palacios.
We learned a lot of important lessons about life, about athletics, about training, about sports, and I think my generation, as well as all the generations before and after, can attest that they definitely left an imprint on our lives.
Now you teach kids now, you teach swimming, and you also teach high school kids. Mm-hmm. Some of the swimming lessons come back to...
Absolutely. Everything we learn in the pool can be translated into everyday life, and it's cool that I can now, with my own kids and students at school, I can share those lessons. Times are different, so you need to tweak things a little bit, but it's definitely, the life lessons are still the same.
Tell me about Sunday. Have you thought about what you're going to say? Have you talked to some other swimmers around?
Yeah, we're still working on the final details, but we have an idea. We just want to give people an opportunity to express, to get together and to remember and celebrate her life.
These days, the swimming tradition lives on, most recently with some tremendous performances in the Solomon Islands. But our local athletes currently don't have a great pool to train in. The Marpy pool closed in 2017. Sunday is going to be a day to remember for some of the older swimmers, and perhaps a day to reflect and learn for some of the younger ones.
We're going to send her off. It was sad to hear the news, but at the same time, for how many people that she's touched out here, we really hope that people that have anything to do with swimming here in Saipan or the love of the ocean can come out and help us remember her this Sunday.
She gave all of us a gift. Bill also, but their family gave all of us here on the island a gift, and we're able to perpetuate and share that gift, and I think that's an awesome legacy.
Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
And for your KSPN weather report, tonight partly cloudy with isolated showers, east winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, low 77 and a 20% chance of showers. Tomorrow partly cloudy with isolated showers, east winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, highs 86 and a 20% chance of showers. For your marine forecast, moderate to fresh trade winds and combined seas of 5 to 8 feet are expected the next few days. High tide will be at 9:31 a.m. tomorrow, followed by a low tide at 5:27 p.m. Sunrise will be at 6:04 a.m. and the sunset, you can catch that at 6:31 p.m.